The trumpet has sounded. This is not just another video, not just another word floating through your feed. This is a divine summons, a prophetic call breaking through the noise of this world and piercing directly into your spirit. If these words have reached your ears, it is not coincidence. It is destiny. Heaven orchestrated the precise second for your eyes to see this message and for your heart to feel the weight of it. Right now, the records of accusation against you have been torn apart. The shame that tried to follow you has been burned in the fire of God's justice. The invisible oil of anointing is already resting upon your life, marking you as chosen, sealing you for the very purpose you were born to carry. Listen carefully. The version of you that once lived in fear, doubt, confusion, and delay is dissolving in this moment. Heaven is activating the unshakable, the fearless, the limitless version of who you truly are. This is not a season of waiting. This is the hour of release. This is not preparation anymore. This is activation. The shift is not on the way. The shift is not tomorrow. The shift is not in the future. The shift is here now. It is alive. It is already moving through your spirit like thunder. And if you allow it to, it will transform every part of your existence. Before we go deeper, I need you to align with this message in the spirit. Hit the like button, not for me, but as a prophetic act declaring that you agree with heaven's call over your life. If you haven't yet, subscribe now, because this is not entertainment, it is spiritual alignment. And in the comments, type the number 99. That number is not random. It is a prophetic signal. It represents the closing of an old cycle and the final push into divine completion. When you declare it, you are testifying in faith that you will not miss this shift. Heaven will see your agreement. Angels will respond to your obedience, and the oil on your life will multiply. The trumpet has sounded, chosen one. The shift is already here. Are you ready to step into it? Chosen. 1. The very first evidence that the great shift has begun is the unsettling awareness that the old version of you no longer fits. It is as if you are walking in clothes that have suddenly shrunk, heavy garments stitched from shame, fear, and limitation. Garments that once defined you but now suffocate you. The world tried to bury you under false labels, whispered lies about your worth, and invisible chains of rejection. Yet the hand of God is moving now, peeling off each layer of falsehood like old skin that was never meant to remain. This is not self-improvement, this is rebirth. Your true identity, the one written in eternity before your first breath, is breaking through the surface of your being. Do you feel the tension? That strange discomfort with old environments, old relationships, old roles you once thought were yours. That discomfort is not confusion, it is confirmation. Heaven is declaring that the identity crafted by trauma, by culture, by comparison is dissolving. The voice that once told you you are too broken, too late, too unworthy, is being silenced by a higher decree. You are not forgotten. You are not small. You are not weak. You are royalty, eternal in origin, marked by divine purpose, and crowned in advance by the one who knew you before the world had a name. This awakening is not a concept. It is not wishful thinking. It is a divine reality unfolding in your spirit right now. The illusion of limitation is shattering, and the echoes of heaven are calling you into alignment with who you always were. You are not just a survivor. You are an heir of kingdom authority. You are not merely enduring life, you are chosen to transform it. And this revelation carries both weight and urgency. For once identity is awakened, you can no longer hide comfortably in the shadows of who you used to be. The world will resist this change. Old systems will try to pull you back. People who only recognize the broken version of you will not know how to respond to the crowned version. But remember, identity is not voted on. It is decreed. And heaven's decree is final. The more you embrace it, the more power flows into your words, your presence, your very atmosphere. You will notice rooms shift when you walk in. You will notice conversations tilt toward truth when you open your mouth. You will notice the enemy tremble when you simply decide to remain standing. But hear me, chosen one. The danger is not losing battles against others. The danger is forgetting who you are in the middle of the storm. The awakening of identity requires courage. It demands that you stop answering to names that no longer belong to you. It calls you to drop the masks, the compromises, the rehearsed versions of yourself that once made others comfortable, but kept you bound. Identity is not comfort, it is calling. And calling will always feel too big, too heavy, until you realize you were designed to carry it. Right now, heaven is tearing down mirrors of distortion. Every label that once limited you is being shattered. The shame that whispered you would never rise is being drowned out by the roar of your true nature. And as this shift takes place, something remarkable begins. Confidence no longer feels like arrogance. Purity no longer feels like weakness. Humility no longer feels like silence. Instead, each one becomes a weapon in your hands, proof that you are no longer who you were, but who you were destined to be. Chosen one, your identity is not in question. It is awakening, and this awakening will cost you the comfort of being overlooked, but it will reward you with the authority of being undeniable. Step into it fully, because the old world is already crumbling behind you. The cocoon is breaking. The disguise is falling apart. You are about to walk in the unfiltered, unbreakable version of yourself, and the world has no idea what happens when a chosen one finally remembers who they are. And just when you think you've grasped it, another layer will fall, revealing even more power than you thought possible. Are you ready to see how deep this awakening truly goes? Chosen one, have you noticed how suddenly everything seems louder, heavier, more chaotic than before? The noise around you is not random, it is strategic. Hell is trembling because it knows you are only moments away from stepping into your divine purpose. The closer you get to the doorway of destiny, the more violent the shaking becomes. Old voices reappear out of nowhere, trying to remind you of failures that no longer define you. False opportunities dressed as blessings rise up, luring you to settle for less than what heaven has prepared. Temptations crash like relentless waves, not because you are weak, but because the enemy is desperate. He doesn't need to destroy you if he can distract you. Think about it. Distraction is the silent assassin of destiny. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't strike, it lures. It comes disguised as urgency, as comfort, even as love. But underneath, it is poison meant to keep your eyes off the very thing God placed before you. This is why, in this hour, everything competing for your focus feels amplified. The enemy knows he cannot cancel heaven's decree over your life. So he tries to delay it by scattering your attention, by pulling your gaze to the left and to the right while the train of destiny stands in front of you with its doors wide open. But listen carefully. You were not called to miss this train. The trumpet has already sounded. The portal is already open and the window is narrow. Only those with laser focus will step into the new dimension waiting for them. And laser focus is not just concentration, it is obedience. It is refusing to answer calls that pull you back into cycles you've already escaped. It is rejecting counterfeit doors that look good but lead nowhere. It is recognizing that distraction is not harmless. It is spiritual warfare in disguise. Hell understands something that many people ignore. Distraction can cost you more than failure. Failure refines, but distraction delays. Failure teaches, but distraction blinds. And if you give in to distraction long enough, you may look up and realize the moment you were created for has already passed. That is why this shaking is happening now, because time is critical. The enemy is unleashing every trick to pull you out of alignment right before breakthrough. He wants you scrolling aimlessly, trapped in comparison, stuck in arguments that drain your energy, replaying memories that God already buried. But chosen one, heaven has equipped you with the power to silence the noise. You were not built to live scattered. You were created to live aligned. That is why your spirit has been restless lately. That inner stirring you feel, that sense of urgency that won't leave you alone, it is heaven pulling you back to focus. It is God whispering, "Do not miss this moment." Because in this exact hour, every distraction you defeat becomes fuel for your acceleration. Every temptation you overcome becomes a crown of authority. Every counterfeit you reject sharpens your discernment and prepares you for the real promise. And make no mistake, the shaking will intensify. People will resurface with words meant to stir old wounds. Opportunities will appear that look easier than obedience. Comfort will call you back into patterns that feel familiar, but suffocate your growth. But the ones who rise are the ones who dare to keep their eyes fixed on the flame of destiny, even while storms rage around them. You cannot afford to split your attention now. This is the hour where blurred vision costs everything. So let me ask you, are you willing to let go of what drains you, even if it pretends to be good? Are you ready to silence the noise, to cut off the counterfeit, to shut your ears to the whisper of delay? Because if you can do that, You will not only catch this train, you will ride it straight into dimensions others only dream of. And here is the mystery, the part that few understand. The greater the distraction, the closer the breakthrough. If the shaking around you feels unbearable, it is because the enemy knows the gate is already opening. That is why the fire is hottest right before promotion, why the noise is loudest right before clarity, why the storm rages fiercest right before the calm of destiny. Chosen one, the distractions are proof. Proof that the enemy is panicking. Proof that you are seconds away from elevation. Proof that heaven has already positioned your name in places you haven't yet seen. So do not look left, do not look right. Lock your eyes on the path ahead, because what awaits you is far too great to lose. And just when the distractions seem like they might overwhelm you, that is when the true door will open, and you will have to decide if you will step through it or let the noise steal your destiny. Chosen one, right now heaven has placed two radiant doors before you, two exits that are not illusions, not metaphors, but living gateways into a new dimension of existence. And both are open, both are real, both are waiting for you to walk through. The first is spiritual ascension, a rising of your inner being beyond the pull of fear, doubt, and confusion. The second is earthly breakthrough, a tearing down of systems that chained you in poverty, delay, and generational bondage. These are not distant promises. They are here in this moment in front of you. And the shift is undeniable because both realms, spirit and natural, are aligning at the same time. Let's speak first of ascension. Spiritual ascension is not about floating into the clouds or escaping reality. It is about stepping into a higher atmosphere, where fear can no longer hold you hostage. In this realm, clarity replaces confusion like the sun piercing through storm clouds. Here, your discernment sharpens, your vision clears, and the prophetic flow of heaven becomes your daily rhythm. You begin to live above the turbulence that once shook you. The criticism, the gossip, the doubts, they lose power because your spirit is no longer anchored to their weight. You see with heaven's eyes, you hear with heaven's ears, and you move with a peace so steady that even chaos cannot touch it. This ascension is a sacred rising into your true altitude, the place where destiny feels natural, where miracles become ordinary, where wisdom flows like a river from your very presence. But ascension is only half of the revelation. The second door is equally vital, earthly breakthrough. For too long, invisible systems sought to cage you, cycles of lack, chains of limitation, curses whispered across generations. These were not just coincidences. They were assignments designed to keep you small. But the door is swung open. Heaven is dismantling the matrix of poverty and delay, and resources are being redirected into your hands. Unexpected provision, divine opportunities, influence you did not chase but that chases you, all of these are signs of this breakthrough. This is where your spirit's elevation translates into tangible transformation. This is where you step into rooms you never imagined entering, where you hold keys you did not even know existed, where generational patterns snap in an instant and your children, and their children, reap the freedom you claimed. Now understand this, these exits are not alternatives. You do not have to choose one over the other. Heaven has designed this moment so you can walk through both at once. You are called to ascend in spirit while also breaking through in the natural. You are meant to rise in prophetic authority and prosper in divine provision. You are meant to carry clarity in your soul and abundance in your hands. This is why the shift cannot be denied. It is multidimensional, unfolding in heaven and on earth simultaneously. But there is urgency. These doors do not remain open forever. The trumpet has sounded, the hour has come, and hesitation could cost more than you realize. The enemy knows what awaits you on the other side, which is why distractions are intensifying, which is why doubts whisper louder now. Because once you walk through these exits, you will not return the same. People will not recognize you. Old environments will reject you. Familiar spirits will panic because the version of you stepping out will be untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable. So the question is this: will you rise into the atmosphere of heaven while also tearing down the barriers of earth? Will you claim both exits, both blessings, both dimensions of destiny? Chosen one, the doors are open, glowing with divine fire, guarded by angels waiting for your step of faith. And the moment you cross, the shift will become irreversible. Because what waits beyond is not just change, it is transformation. Not just freedom, it is dominion. Not just blessing, it is legacy. And even now, as you hear these words, the doors are pulsing like thunder in your spirit, daring you to decide. So lean in, because what you are about to discover is that walking through these doors will not just alter your life, it will alter reality itself. Chosen one, you may not have realized it, but you are standing in the middle of a metamorphosis so profound that even your own reflection will not recognize you when it is complete. Like a butterfly trapped inside its cocoon, you have been pressed by heaviness, drained by exhaustion, and disconnected from places and people that once felt familiar. But do not mistake this for weakness. Do not confuse this for loss. This is not abandonment, it is transformation. What has felt like death was never death at all. It was the sacred process of divine rebirth. Metamorphosis is not gentle. It is not comfortable. It feels like tearing and stretching, like your very being is dissolving into something unrecognizable. And that is exactly what is happening. Your spiritual DNA is being rewritten. The atmosphere around you is being recalibrated. The cells of your identity are shifting, breaking apart, and reforming into a version of yourself that is aligned not with who the world said you were, but with who heaven always knew you to be. It is painful because the false layers are being stripped away. It is heavy because the old shell is collapsing. But it is holy because the new you is emerging. Consider this. Before a butterfly spreads its wings, it first dissolves into a formless state. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar ceases to exist in the way it once was. Its old self literally melts so that the true design coded into its DNA can come forth. That is what is happening to you right now. The version of you shaped by trauma, fear, compromise, and survival is dissolving. It feels like you are breaking, but in reality you are becoming. The spirit within you is breaking free from the illusion of limitation, from the identity of victimhood, from the patterns of smallness. You are not being destroyed, you are being revealed. This is why your spirit has felt restless. This is why old pleasures no longer satisfy, why old conversations drain you, why old environments feel suffocating. You have outgrown them. You are not who you were even a week ago. Your cocoon is cracking, and the light of your new form is beginning to leak out. Heaven has been refining you in silence so that when you emerge, you will not just be changed, you will be uncontainable. Your words will carry fire. Your presence will carry weight. Your very existence will disrupt atmospheres because you will radiate the glory of transformation. But here is the mystery. Metamorphosis requires surrender. The caterpillar cannot fight the cocoon. If it does, it dies unfinished. The same is true for you. If you resist this process, if you cling to the old, if you insist on staying who you once were, you will stunt what heaven is trying to release. This is why God has allowed you to feel disconnected. He has cut ties not to punish you, but to protect your emergence. He has stripped away comfort not to leave you empty, but to make room for the fullness of your new form. And when the moment comes, you will break out, not crawling, but flying. The heaviness will lift, the exhaustion will evaporate, the silence will turn into a roar. You will rise with wings coated in purpose, dripping with fire, unstoppable in motion. Every hidden tear, every silent prayer, every season of being unseen will suddenly make sense. Because the cocoon was never a tomb, it was a womb. You were not buried, you were planted, chosen one. You are moments away from stretching wings that generations have been waiting to see. You are on the edge of emergence, and the world will not know what to do with the glory that will flow from your life. But lean in, because here lies the tension. The cocoon is cracking. The light is leaking, and your spirit is pressing against the veil. The question is not whether you will emerge. You will. The question is, will you be ready to step into the skies prepared for you, or will you hesitate at the very threshold of your becoming? Chosen one, hear this with the weight it deserves. This shift is not only about you. What God is doing in your life is bigger than your personal journey. It is about your bloodline. It is about rewriting the script of your family, tearing down the curses that have stalked your lineage for generations, and planting a new story of blessing that your children and their children will walk in long after you are gone. Heaven is not just answering your prayers, it is answering the cries of those who came before you, the whispered tears of your ancestors, the secret prayers of your mother or grandmother. the silent sacrifices of those who carried pain so you could carry promise. All of them converge in this moment. And you, chosen one, are the hinge of history. Think carefully about this. Depression, instability, cycles of poverty, addictions, family betrayals. Those chains did not begin with you, but they will end with you. You are the line breaker, the curse ender, the one heaven marked to stand in the middle and say, "This stops here." You are carrying the authority to shut doors that tormented your bloodline for centuries, and to open doors that no one before you even imagined. You are not just surviving. You are securing the future of countless souls connected to your obedience. And here is the mystery. Legacy is not built in public applause. It is forged in private faith. Every time you said yes to God when no one was watching, you were building an altar that your descendants will stand upon. Every tear you cried in silence became seed in the soil of tomorrow's harvest. Every battle you fought in the dark has written victory into the DNA of those who will come after you. Heaven sees what your family may never have seen. Heaven records what the world has overlooked. And now, because of your obedience, the books of your bloodline are being rewritten. Do you realize what that means? It means your children will walk in freedoms you had to fight for. It means your grandchildren will inherit blessings you never saw with your eyes but believed with your heart. It means cycles of chaos that once seemed normal will look foreign to those who carry your name. You are not only shifting your destiny, you are shifting the entire future of your lineage. This is the difference between survival and legacy. Survival says, "I made it through." Legacy says, "They will never face what I faced." Chosen one, you are becoming the living answer to prayers prayed long before your birth. You are the proof that God hears, that He remembers, that He redeems. Heaven is using your yes as a pen to write a brand new story across your bloodline, a story that hell cannot edit, a story sealed with divine ink that cannot be erased. And generations not yet born will thank you. They will call you blessed. They will live in peace because you chose obedience over comfort. But do not be deceived. Legacy comes with warfare. The resistance you have faced, the intensity of your battles, the unexplainable weight you carried. It was never only about you. It was hell's attempt to stop the chain reaction of blessing about to flow through your family. The enemy knew that if you broke through, he would lose not just one soul, but entire generations. That is why your fight has been so fierce. But that is also why your victory will be so loud. And here lies the urgency. You cannot shrink back now. The decisions you make in this very hour echo into eternity. Every act of obedience is a hammer breaking generational chains. Every step of faith is a door opening for your descendants. Every time you refuse to compromise, you are transferring courage into the spiritual DNA of those who will come after you. This is why you cannot afford to quit. Too much is riding on your yes, chosen one. Your legacy is unlocking right now. Heaven is writing a new story with your name on the first page. The ink is wet, the script is divine, and the angels are already preparing to deliver it into the future. The only question is, will you step fully into this moment and claim it? Because when you do, the shift will no longer be about one person rising. It will be about an entire bloodline ascending. And just as you realize the power of that truth, you will feel the weight of generations pressing behind you, urging you forward. And that's when you'll know this was never just about you. It was always about the legacy. Chosen one, the hour is not approaching, it is here. The air itself is trembling. The portal is wide open. The trumpet has already sounded, and heaven's gaze is fixed on you. Every angel is on standby. Every scroll has been unsealed. Every chain has been broken in preparation for this exact moment. The enemy tried to bury you, but he miscalculated. Because you were never planted in a grave, you were planted in destiny. You were never meant to die. You were meant to ascend. This is the moment where hesitation becomes your greatest danger. Do not look back at the ashes of what once was. Do not linger at the threshold of your calling. Do not entertain fear for even a second. Fear is the language of delay, but faith is the key that opens this door. The voice of heaven is crying out, "Step through now. Chosen one, hear me with fire in your spirit. This is your final call to destiny." This is the collision of prophecy and time. The exact alignment of everything that has pressed you, stretched you, broken you, and refined you. All of it was leading here. And now the heavens roar with one decree: move forward.